are live. We are live. Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark. I am here live at BlerDCon 2025. Oh, let me start that over again. Jesus. You think I would have practiced this last night?
You got it, bro.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark, from Blerdography. I am here live at BlerDCon 2025, and boy, are we having a hell of a time out here in Chocolate City. But I am joined by a very special guest because all my guests are special. Mr. Charles Henry, welcome back to Blerdkast, man.
Man, I thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me, man.
No worries, no worries. So just to catch everybody up, had Mr. Henry on Blerdkast a couple of months ago, and we talked about you coming to a convention, and then all of a sudden you're here at BlerDCon.
Man, this was not planned. I didn't know you were gonna be here.
I didn't know I was gonna be here. Literally on the way up here, I was like, we might not make it. We might not make it, but we made it. But how did you just miraculously out of nowhere just show up to a convention?
You know what? I came to a last minute decision, and if there's any place I wanted to be, it had to be here. Predominantly black, unapologetically blurred.
Okay.
I had to be here, bro.
Okay. So how has and this is your first BlerDCon, right?
My very first.
Mine too. This has been a very unique experience here at BlerDCon, unlike any other convention I've gone to. But I gotta ask, what has your experience been like so far?
I love it. I just got done saying earlier this morning, as a matter of fact, BlerDCon gives an HBCU vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You feel at home, man. You can just be yourself.
Gotcha.
You could just be. This is probably the most normal I felt all year.
That's a good way of putting that.
Yeah.
That's a really, because even at home, like at Atlanta, at DragonCon, MomoCon, I'm a bit on the edge. But since I've been here, it's been like, I know half the people that's here.
Right.
Or I looks like I know them because I've definitely made that mistake. Don't I know you?
Oh, man.
No, but we're about to know each other.
Exactly.
So much stuff has happened. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I just walked outside and someone's like, here's some party favors. Bro. Okay, cool. The atmosphere, it's a really nice, comfortable atmosphere.
Come on.
It's like Hilton George took the best aspects of being black,
bro,
a cookout, a family reunion, and just us having a good old fashioned time and turned it into a convention. And that's what all that has been. I'm mad I had to go to sleep last night because I missed something between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m.
You know, the first thing that blew my mind when we came here, there was a barbershop upstairs.
That's right.
At the con. Here at the con, there's a barbershop. I'm like, and there's two dudes getting a haircut. I couldn't believe it, dog.
Right. Have you found the Spades tournament yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
That's on my bucket list for today. What do you have on your list today?
Oh man. So other than meeting you and doing this interview with you,
right?
I've got an interview with Men's Fragrance at 5 p.m. also. Right.
Sitting there right off camera.
Right. I'm mostly gonna be in the gaming room, bro. I'm a retro gamer at heart.
Right.
If it's not Mario, if it's not Sonic, if it's not Legend of Zelda, you know, Metroid, bro, Super Castlevania 4, I can go on. Anything from the 90s, anything from the early 2000s, I'm playing it, bro.
Okay. I'm playing it. So since you brought up the gaming room, have you had a chance to go down there? I'm assuming you've been down there already a lot.
At least 4 times. If I'm being perfectly transparent.
All right. So what do you think of Mr. Hilton's setup of the gaming area?
It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I've never been to a convention where there is a DJ in the game room.
That is good, actually. I was like, hey, it's arcade atmosphere.
Bro.
They playing good music, people dancing, drinking. I was like, why don't all arcades have a DJ just mixing live music?
Because they can't all be BlerDCon, bro.
They can't be BlerDCon. Oh man,
they can't, bro. I'm loving it here. Hopefully, this is not my last visit.
It won't.
I love it here, bro. Every mutual that I've ran into, it feels like it's like family, bro.
Right.
Even with running into you, like we've done an interview before, but this is our first actual meetup, bro.
I know. And see, I was trying to meet up with you last night when I didn't have the
bro.
camera in my hand.
I know.
So we could have really did it up, but like now I gotta work today. So good, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Good, but speaking of mutuals, I got to give a very special shout out to a mutual friend of ours, both of ours. She's famous
Come on.
for quoting Bleach in her opening statement. I got to give a shout out to Miss Angie. Oh my God, I'm about to call her by her nickname, Miss Angela DeWilliams, the Supreme Attorney.
Supreme Attorney, what's up?
What's up? You definitely coming next year. We're already planning. Yeah, we're planning next year. So you're already in a part of that.
Come on.
So just get ready to fork over all that money for next year. She said in my text message, I woke up this morning, you and Charles are coming. Y'all in my entourage. I was like, oh, I've never been in someone else's entourage.
I swear, I haven't either.
Okay, this is going to be fun. It is going to be fun. All right, so before we move on to my next guest, I got to ask you, what content are you going to create here at BlerdCon?
You know what, man? I'm hoping to do collaboration content with some of my mutuals, actually. If not, you know, I'll just keep it the way I've been doing it, you know. But it's I'm gonna have fun either way, bro. I'm having fun right now. I woke up early for this, dog. It might be 10 a.m. I've been up since at least 6, at least 7.
Man, you better than me because I woke up 15 minutes before we got here.
Bro, I was ready.
But I'm just saying, it was so much going on last night at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, there's not enough time to enjoy this convention.
It's a lot going on.
It is a lot going on. But thank you for coming on. We're gonna have so much more from you, but we got to move on to the next guest. Shout out to Charles Henry. Thank you for coming on.
Man.
Follow him on TikTok. He is a very funny, very entertaining content creator. Will we get an appearance from Charles with the red shirt?
Today, no.
Okay.
Today, no. Charles with the red shirt is a little under the weather.
Okay. Then you gotta find Charles with the Blerd shirt.
Oh my God.
One of them other Charles is around here somewhere.
Charles gotta be here.
Another Charles gotta be here. So hopefully we'll find that other Charles. But I don't even know who I'm bringing on next. Who am I bringing on next? Who wants to come up next? All right.
I'm gonna tag him in.
All right. So we're gonna tag in Scorpking Costuming.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. Yes, sir. We got it. All right. Get up here. Appreciate it, bro. Yep. Pass off the microphone. Got it right here.
No, the other one.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah.
The lavalier.
Much appreciated.
Yep. Oh, this feels good.
Yes. And just like that, magic of editing. And I am here with Scorpking Costuming live at BlerdCon 2025. How are you doing today?
Bro, I'm good. My belly is full.
That's
Got
good.
out that morning fart and everything.
That's good. That is good. So how have you been enjoying BlerdCon so far? Because I know this isn't your first time coming.
Nah, I've been here since it started. So this is lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of like when you go sit on a corner, literally, and you see all your family pass you, and and it's all nothing but love, and even the haters come and love you.
Yes.
So it's nothing but, you know, that family vibe right now.
Right. So who are you cosplaying as this weekend?
It's more like who I'm not cosplaying as.
That's a good way of putting that.
Because yesterday morning I did an Egyptian alien from just some random picture I found on Facebook.
Okay.
Then I finished off last night with Zombie Thanos.
Okay. Oh, Zombie Thanos?
Yeah. So I was literally sitting right here.
Okay.
And people passed. They were either Thanos, or Thanos don't snap. A few people were like, Thanos don't bite me, because that's why I had the mask down.
Oh man, that must have been dope. Dope.
I bit like 6 or 7 people, so it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah. One got bit twice though, because you know he was acting kind of funny. So I had to make sure he was zombified.
Okay. All right. When in BlerdCon, do as the Blerds do.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, since you've been coming from the beginning, you've seen BlerdCon go from a small first-time convention to what are we in the 7th, 8th year now?
Well, officially the 8th, physically the 7th, because of the 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
How have you seen the con grow over the years, and what has been the impact to the local community that you have seen?
The local community isn't as weirded out anymore because they're now used to seeing us come, even though normally it's in July. Now today, you know, this year it's in March. but they've grown accustomed to seeing us. The hotel itself, they're more accustomed to seeing us. It's almost like on the DragonCon now because they're fully dressed as well for the weekend.
Right.
So yeah, it's a better vibe. And then as far as the attendees, everybody's on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought up something because yesterday after walking around and just doing my known rounds to get the lay of the land, the first thing I said was, this is definitely giving me Black DragonCon vibes.
Yes.
Like if y'all don't know, DragonCon's a really big convention down in Atlanta. It's one of my favorite conventions. It was my favorite convention until this one. I'll talk more about that later. But it's sprawled out all over the city of Atlanta. You go from one venue hotel to the next one, and this one's kind of giving me that vibes. You got stuff down at the Hyatt, stuff down at the Hilton, and stuff going on in the area. You just walk out at any time of the night. It's something going on. There's a panel, there's a meetup, there's a photo shoot. The food trucks, that's something I wanted to bring up. The food trucks, amazing. The pricing here, amazing. It's not price gouged at all.
If you ever want good food at a con that's not overpriced, I'm talking $15 hot dogs overpriced. You come here for $15, you get an oxtail, rice and pea, mixed vegetables with cabbage.
Right.
For another $2 or $3, you're getting a full-size drink and not a little can of doggone Coke. You're eating like a king. So if anything, that's one reason to come to BlerDCon next year.
Yeah. Not only oxtails, but I've seen pho, I've seen tacos, funnel cakes, pizza, wings, burgers, boba tea, like the variety of food and everything is within your budget. You can eat at the con the entire weekend and not go broke and be filled. Like I just had 2 slices of pizza last night, 3 a.m. No other con has food trucks that's like out still open at 3 a.m. Some Atlanta cons need to take note to how to do food trucks at their convention. Looking at you, the last one I went to, they know who they are. So let me ask you. Let me ask you, what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
To be honest, today we're doing our Elephant in the Room panel.
Okay.
It's all about mental health and cosplay.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that for the 3rd year here, 4th year overall.
Okay.
And it's a big hit. We started off doing this as a 60-minute panel. We're doing it for an hour and a half now.
That's good.
We're hitting so many people. And every year it's a different group of folks coming to the panel. So we get different input from people and actually in some cases able to help some folks too, because I think it was last year here, we had somebody that went the year prior and actually said, I was here the year prior, and a lot of the stuff that you guys talked about last year, I took into account, and it's made me a better person for this reason or that reason.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's mainly that. And then on top of the fact, we be cutting up, man.
Yes, we definitely be cutting up. Again, BlerDCon, just out of the 10-15 hours I've been awake to experience it so far, has just become my favorite con of all. This is my first time coming here.
Right.
Just the vibe, the atmosphere, the people, the attendees. It feels too much like Atlanta.
Yeah, but
to me,
the difference is it's all black.
It's all black, and that's I think the biggest thing. It's all black. It's all nerd. Like everybody nerd.
Yeah,
cosplayers, people in geek shirts, people just having arguments over the Dragon Ball the Dragon Ball thing with Super Saiyan Legend 4, and I was like, yeah,
exactly.
And I'm just happy. I'm just happy, like, seeing black nerds elevated to this type of pristine and level in this type of atmosphere. It does something to me, and I'm just like, why can't Atlanta have nice things like a black nerd convention?
Because everybody's trying to do their own thing, but it'll come around.
One day.
Yeah,
one day. But with that said, we gotta move on to the next guest because I do have a line of people. But where can everybody find you on the internet?
Either on IG, it's either at BIGSMU, Scorpking Costuming, or Ohio H Enterprises.
Okay,
that's my business. Okay, that's one of the 4.
All right.
So yeah.
And what's the next convention you're coming to?
The next one I'm doing is going to be in Philly. That's going to be the X-Men Gala.
X-Men Con.
Yeah, there's an X-Men Gala that's going. I think she's in year 5 actually of
Okay.
hers. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing this April.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that is Awesome Con. I mean Dragon Con.
Dragon Con?
Yeah.
You gonna skip Momo?
I don't ever do Momo. Man, I'm 54 years old.
Momo's a nice convention.
Yeah, but see, I'm 54 years old and there's a bunch of kids, man. I can't be running around them kids like that.
It's not that bad.
Nah.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
I think Dragon Con is worse.
Oh, nah.
As far as like running
But
around
see-
and all that.
But see, I got people my age to go get twisted with.
Gotcha.
And that's what usually happens, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Gotcha.
One last thing I do want to say to you.
What's up?
One, bro, it's good to see you.
It is
Because
good
like
to
I
see
said,
you.
like you said, I only usually see you at Dragon Con.
Right.
You're up here in Chocolate City.
Right.
So that's love. And then 2, be on the look for the P-Funk All-Stars icons this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be on the lookout.
We'll be doing that thing.
All right, cool. With that, we'll be back with our next guest. All right, appreciate it. Let me get that microphone.
But they're both sitting over there.
Which one of y'all wants to be next? All right. Oh, thank you so much. That one. Okay. But yeah, just ham it up in the background. Like, just ham it up. And like, you look so stunning. Like, it's your first time. Congratulations. It's my first time too. I'm having fun. It is nice to meet you officially for the second time. Before we start, what is your name again?
Webster Styles.
Webster Styles.
Yes.
Okay. I know.
Because think like this says men's style.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the okay. Cool.
Yes.
All right. What's going on? I am back with my next guest, Mr. Webster Styles.
What's going on, everybody? Webster Styles, the man, the voice, the fragrance.
So, just full disclosure, we just started following each other because of a mutual friend we have.
Right.
Again, shout out to the Supreme Attorney. But why don't you tell my audience a little bit about what it is that you do?
Webster Style is an online platform started in 2009. It is all about redefining the lifestyle of a gentleman. So we do interviews, we talk about fragrance, style, comics, pretty much anything that I'm interested in, I talk about and I interview people.
That's very interesting. So the first obvious question I have to ask you is, how do you combine men's fashion and nerddom? Because usually the two, you never see the two relate in any way unless it's like nerd fashion, but you like doing high-end gentleman style like fashion.
Right. Well, a lot of it comes from just the definition of style. Style isn't necessarily how you dress, is about who you are as a man. And
Right.
That's where even the platform came from back in 2009. It was about not being represented in those spaces, being black men like GQ, Esquire, and whatnot. And also, on the flip side of that, back then, the only time I saw people like us was like in urban themed magazines. I'm like, that's not who I am. That's
Right.
not what we all are about. So it really became an evolution of not just dress and how you function, but how you think, how you treat other people, what your passions are. So that's why even now with the shift over the past few years to go more into the culture, it's about, hey, I'm not just into looking a certain way or dressing a certain way. I'm into this. My friends are into this. These are things that we nerd out about. These are things we're passionate about. These are the things that make us the men that who we are.
That's actually really good. That is really good. So how do you approach your content as far as the process of creating content?
A lot of it honestly comes from now, like I still do the fragrance stuff. Fragrances, I love them. Tutorials, because I've gotten a lot of people who have asked, hey, can you do this? So like my bow tie tutorials and things of that nature are there. But a lot of it comes from my own personal interest. Interest that I have, interest that my friends have, men like me have. And other things have just been thrust on my lap. Like a lot of my interviews with the adult stars. That's something I never thought I'd go into, but it's one of the things that I was in a position, people liked it. I had friends that gave me context. People started reaching out to me based on content. So I've had some very interesting conversations in that realm, and that's actually spawned a whole lot of different conversations with people in various other realms because they've enjoyed what I've done with those individuals in that field. They're like, oh, this is a really good conversation. Let me sit down and talk with him.
Gotcha. So let's go back to fashion for a little bit, because I am very interested in combining nerddom with like fashion on all levels, whether it's high-end dress, whether it's casual hip-hop style. Like me personally on my channel, I like just being casually dressed. I like representing the nerddom that is me. But for someone who is, say, in a professional setting,
right,
where you have to dress to impress, how would you incorporate nerddom into a more professional, formal setting of dress?
It's funny because we did 3 years of panels on that very subject.
Really?
Here past couple years. But a lot of it, as far as a man, a lot of it is the accents. Like I would wear a lapel pin.
Okay.
I have like various video game buttons, so I wear like Contra, or I got Care Bears or something like that to sort of go along with the color scheme I'm going with. Socks as well. I have like various like Marvel socks and Star Trek socks and things of that nature. My man Will, who's here, one of the things he does, he always wears a Tomorrowland pin just to incorporate that geekdom into. So a lot of it's going to be the accents, because obviously, well, I say obviously, you can go in wearing a blazer with Naruto in the back. I'm not sure you would get the response you want in a highly professional setting. It'd be amazing here though. But it's about accenting and really incorporating those things into your traditional style. But when it comes to, now I hate saying fashion because fashion is fleeting. I'm always talking about style that is good today, good tomorrow, good 20 years from now. A lot of it always comes down to how it fits you, making sure you get clothing that fits your body type and fits you well. When it's too baggy, you look sloppy and whatnot. When it's too tight, you don't look that great. It's like you're popping out the butt. So it's always about getting things that really fit you, but also accentuating your body as well.
Right.
As one of the things I think as men, we don't always think about, but also I don't think a lot of retail really fits that either. We have to shop a lot more, especially when you're a taller man or a bigger man.
Right.
You really gotta search around, because even if it says that number on there, even I'm tall and slender, just because it's supposed to fit me doesn't mean it fits me the way it's supposed to.
That is true.
So you got to really make sure you find things that really fit you, fit your body type. And that's when you really start to look your best.
That's a good take. That is a really good take. So let me ask you, since you've been coming to BlerDCon for so many years, what is your favorite part about the convention?
Oh, I'll echo what Charles said. Just, it's home. I was telling somebody this morning, I was in Starbucks. If there's no con I go to any year, this is the one I'm at. This is the one I'm definitely going to, not because of I live nearby, but because this is home. This is like a reunion. There are people here like yourself, like Charles, who I've only seen on the internet. There are little people here I went to school with that I maybe see once a year coming here. There are friends of mine that have been friends for 30 years, which is weird to say, that I know are here, and we were hanging out last night. Like, it is such a homecoming, and it's such a place where we can let our geek flag fly, and no matter what it is, we can talk about it, and we listen, we accept, we respect, and we don't judge.
I haven't seen not 1 ounce of judgment. I've seen nothing but acceptance since I've been here, regardless of how you dress, how you look, how you come.
Right.
Everybody's just happy that you are here, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. Like, my next guest I'm gonna bring up is, I'm gonna tell that story when she comes up. But I've met about 20-30 people here just talking nerd stuff, which is like just my favorite thing to do. And now I'm like, I gotta find a way to come to this convention and all the other conventions I go to every year. I gotta add BlerDCon to my rotation. But before we go, where can everybody find you at on the internet?
You can find me in so many places, but first and foremost, anything and everything is at websterstyle.com. You can find me on Instagram, Webster Style, Twitter, Webster Style, TikTok, _Webster Style. But again, websterstyle.com. Also, YouTube is Webster Style Magazine, but websterstyle.com is the way you want to go to.
All right, perfect. Everybody, go check them out. You're mainly on TikTok, or you are just like
I'm everywhere?
Everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
But yeah, go check out Mr. Webster Styles
and Blue Sky. There's on Web Style Blue Sky too.
You know, I gotta get used to all the new social media that I'm on since the apocalypse happened. So like Blue Sky, Red Note, fan base. Is anybody on fan base?
I stopped. It was boring. I don't like the engagement. I'll be honest. I don't like the engagement on fan base. I started my account after 2 years, and I'm like, I can't find anybody. There's no real interaction. Like I wasn't feeling it. It's only a 1 minute video limit. I'm like, I can no.
Yeah.
It hasn't evolved in my opinion in 2 years.
Mr. Isaac Hayes III, if
Yeah.
you are out here watching, people want fan base to be
We do.
the app, but it has some issues that need to be worked out.
Yeah, definitely.
So take a second to fix those issues, and we're going to be there. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Come back at 5 o'clock for my show. Okay, great.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to come back for your live stream. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Give me 1 second while we get our next guest ready. I'm ready. But while I have your attention, how are you enjoying your BlerDCon? People watching on the live stream? I can't see the comments, so I hope y'all are talking. Go ahead and put this on. That's for my camera, and then this is for the live stream. There you go. All right. So, and come over a little bit. All right, there you go. All right. So, as I was alluding to in the last interview, BlerDCon is such an amazing place. You could just show up and just be minding your own business, and then you run into like 15 new people. So for me, this is one of those new people I ran into. We met last night at a meetup, and then BlerDCon got the BlerDCon, and then did we have a time last night? But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, to the live stream, and to the world?
Hello, I am Marie. I am dressed as Dr. Deadpool today.
Okay, where's the mask? Okay.
It's tight and you would not be able to hear me say anything through it. So
All right, fair enough. But how have you been enjoying your BlerDCon so far?
I have been enjoying it very thoroughly. There are a ton more panels than I thought were going to be interesting. So it's been really, really cool.
Okay. So what interesting panels have you been to so far?
So I went to a couple yesterday, but this morning I got to sit in one that was about the current political landscape and what we can do as Black people and organizers and so on. And it was headed by a bunch of like Black doctors and teachers and stuff. So it was really cool.
That is dope. Why did I miss that? Because I had to sleep.
It was at 9 a.m. and I passed out at 2:30. So
okay, that's why I missed that. But no, that is a really dope panel.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. So this isn't your first time coming to BlerDCon, correct?
No, this is my second BlerDCon.
Your second BlerDCon?
Mhm.
So what was it about last year? Was it last year?
Mhm.
What was it about last year that made you want to come back for this year?
So I had never been before. My friend, she's been going for a couple of years, and I only got to go for the third day for like maybe 3 hours or so, but the Black nerdy energy that I got sustained me until this year. So I was just like, I've never felt this much Black nerdiness in my life. It was great. And I was like, I need to be here every year, especially with them trying to get rid of, diversity.
Yes. Speaking of diversity, we talked so much last night and I got to know you. Why don't you tell my audience a little bit more about you and just some of the amazing work that you have done in your past that made me want to come and have this interview with you?
Sure. So part of what we were talking about was I don't know how we got on the subject, but I was talking about how I used to volunteer with the people who were being bused to DC from Texas and all over the country by mainly from Texas to DC and other places. But I was in DC helping those people. And I took a bunch of notes. I wanted to shout out the organizations that were helping at that time.
Go for it.
DC Street Medics, CASA, World Central Kitchen was providing food at one point, and Sanctuary DMV. Those were some of the main ones that were really helping at that time. I know all of those organizations are still around. I do not believe people are still being bussed in, but I have not seen anything on the news and I haven't seen any coverage. So, yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't know if it's still happening. I'm pretty sure it's not, though. During that time, it was crazy to see how, first of all, ICE was really screwing people.
Right.
Like the paperwork that they were giving them, it didn't have appropriate phone numbers. Half of them weren't getting the cell phones that they were giving out to track them. Half the cell phones didn't work. And then they were setting them up to have ICE, what do you call it? ICE interviews or like check-ins all over the country. So they were busing them to DC, but then they were giving them check-ins in like Ohio and California and Oregon and Boston, like all kinds of random places. They didn't have addresses on some of the paperwork. Like it seemed like they were trying their hardest to screw these people. And not only that, when I first started with that, there were people from literally all over the world, especially Black people from the diaspora, people from Haiti and Congo and Angola and all kinds of places. And then I believe it was Trump he shut the door basically for Black immigrants. And like within a week, there were no more Black people. It was crazy. My Spanish is not that good. I'm working on it, but like, that was one of the reasons that I wasn't able to help as much, was because there were suddenly no Black people, and my Spanish skills were weak, so I did what I could. But another reason I had to stop is I also almost became homeless at that time. So I was not able to sit in a room with 50 people trying to find housing and, transportation out of town and all this stuff for these people when I was about to be homeless. So I wanted to shout out those organizations because they carried on the work when I could not.
Gotcha.
But I would like to shout out a couple of other organizations. If you'd like to know more about this, you can follow the ones that I've already listed. If you'd like to know generally what's happening in the DMV, you can follow Chuck Modi, he's technically a sports writer, but that dude has been at almost every single protest that I may or may not have been at, allegedly, we'll say allegedly. That guy has covered so much stuff. So if you follow him on Twitter or Instagram, I'm not sure if he has a TikTok, there's a ton of footage that you can see and information and interviews, including some interviews with myself. You can also follow Sunrise Movement, DC, Harriet's Wildest Dreams. My roommate, who is more into these kinds of things currently, she said Guns Down Friday is a good one. Concerned Citizens, HIPS DC, United Farm Workers is one that I would advise you to follow. Indigenous Rising, Good Trouble Collectives, Extinction Rebellion, and Jewish Voices for Peace. Those especially, you should definitely keep an eye on those pages, their social medias. They've got a ton of information for you. Some issues that you can follow currently that affect not just DC, but all over the country is an increase in pay equity in the Pay Equity Fund for teachers. And there's something going on with free buses. They're, I guess, trying to provide free buses in DC. They keep going up on how much it costs to get around, but the service is still pretty shitty. So,
okay. First of all, just thank you for your work, for you just volunteering your time to help out all the migrants that got bused from Texas to DC, because that was such a despicable, deplorable act of humanity.
It was rough. Like
yeah, I understand how it was rough. I was at home in Atlanta watching it, and I'm like, this is crazy.
There was one time where, like, the one time that I legitimately broke down and like went into the bathroom and had to cry was there was an African father and he had two small children, and he kept asking me like what assistance there was and all this stuff. And I had to tell him, I was like, there is no government assistance. We are a bunch of organizers and random people in DC who are doing our best to help you. We were fundraising damn near $100,000 in like a couple of weeks and spending that on transportation, on medical care. Street medics for DC, they also, all the DC street medics, they are absolutely amazing. There's a pregnant woman who had been injured. There was a guy who both of his ankles had been injured because there's a specific part of the desert that they passed through where a lot of people were getting injured, and like he couldn't walk. Like he had to sit with both of his legs up because his like legs were just fucking swollen and busted up. So like it was, I feel like it was a real cruelty is the point kind of situation, especially with the way that they were setting people up. But I mean, there are people who did way more than me. I did what I could because I was working full time and I was almost homeless. So yeah, I did what I could in that situation. But
gotcha. But thank you so much for not only just helping out everybody who was affected by that, but like your heart is so big and so giving. I don't even know what to say. You're just like such a nice, genuine person, and I just wanted to have you on and just have you tell your story because that's like people need to hear that.
Yeah, people need to know that when they're talking about criminals and stuff, the majority of these people that are coming here, I know they show you a lot of men being like carted off, but that's because they tend to take the men first. But 95% of who I saw coming through were women and children and families. There were even some trans people that were coming through. There were definitely alphabet soup people coming through, and these people were literally fleeing shit in their country. Like watching that dude hold his children and like look so sad, that shit broke me because I was just like, I can't tell you what to do. And we ended up getting him on a bus with his kids to go somewhere to the Midwest. There was a big African population there that was already established, so we sent him there and we just basically hoped for the best.
Gotcha. Before we go, why don't you tell everybody out there on the internet where they can find you if they want to follow you?
You can follow me at Moonnugget 333 on TikTok, and what do you call it? What the hell is my YouTube? It's Moonnugget something on YouTube. If you look up Moonnugget, you'll find me. I got locked out of my first TikTok, but also we were talking about last night that I was a drag king, and I've been a drag king for 15 years. Next year, I'm hopefully going to be doing a panel about drag kings specifically. So keep on the lookout for that too.
Okay. And I want you to hold on until I get done because I want to do a separate video just talking about that.
Sure.
Okay. But oh my god, I lost track of where I was. This doing lives is like no joke.
That's why I took notes. I was like, let me keep all this straight as I can.
Gotcha. But I have one more guest. We're gonna go ahead and switch them out, but go ahead and follow Miss Moonnugget when you can. All right. Nope, you good. All right. What time is it? 10:45. Okay. Okay. All right. Just all right. You let me know when I'm running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, you're good too.
Okay.
Whenever you're done.
All right, come in a little bit.
Oh,
all right.
Getting close. Getting
All right,
closer.
yeah,
Getting
yeah,
close.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Going live.
Yeah.
I forgot this was live.
Yeah, it's definitely live. Like and I'm doing the voice. So,
you are doing the voice.
Yeah. Still live.
Still live.
Still live. We're going. Hey.
All right. I am back with my next guest. This young man is a very entertaining content creator. I've been following him from the beginning. You run All Nerd Entertainment? Yep.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Mr. Corey, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Corey with All Nerd Entertainment. I go by Nerd Solo. That's my handle on Instagram and Facebook as well. You can find All Nerd Entertainment on Instagram. We have our podcast on YouTube. We have the Nerdkast podcast where we cover pop culture and general topics throughout the week. And then the What's Your Nerd podcast where we interview amazing nerds such as yourself.
Gotcha. Let me ask you, why create the type of content that you create?
Well, really it's because I wanted to find more people like me and then show people that there are more people like us. You know, being a nerd is cool, especially nowadays. You know, back when we were growing up, it was one as a mainstream, but we laid out the groundwork, and now it's kind of cool. As you can see, you got this awesome BlerdCon going on right now, and other Blerd conventions that go on throughout the year across the nation, and it's just getting more popular.
Right, it is. It definitely is. And let me ask you: is this your first time at BlerdCon, or have you come here a lot?
This is my second. Last year was my first time.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, what was it about last year that made you want to come back and experience this year?
I mean, you don't even have to walk in the door to know that you want to come here every day, 365.
Right.
You wish this could be a thing. Like you just go there, like it's Chuck E. Cheese. Like you just can go there. Because you walk around, you see a bunch of black nerds, people of color,
right,
and they're just having fun. All the cons that are mainstream, you know, they're great, but they don't showcase and show off the brilliant and excellent, you know, black nerds that are around.
Right.
In the community.
Right. That's what's up. So since you've been doing content creation and you've been trying to showcase black nerds and everything, what has been what has been your most memorable experience creating the content that you create?
The most memorable experiences I have is when I started the podcast, What's Your Nerd?
Okay.
And I fell down the rabbit hole of interviewing people, and I found out that I love hearing people's stories. So that's the best part about it. And you know, talking to other, like we all ended up in the same spot.
Right.
We all had different paths and different ways we found this place, and different people that brought us in. And some people had nobody; they just walked down the street because they live here and just stumbled upon it. So things like that got me into it. And black writers, black comics. I didn't read comics growing up. I watched a lot of TV. I read minimal comics, but I loved writing as a kid.
Right.
And I've always wanted to have my own comic book and bookstore and stuff like that. And like reading things like Concrete Comics and Wiseacre Comics, things like that. It's amazing because it's the same as like DC and Marvel, except it's, you know, black superheroes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So who's your favorite black comic book creator, and have you met them yet?
I have not met them. I have a couple. I can't really pick a favorite because like over the past year, I'll tell you what, that TikTok shop is deadly. Like just buying comics on TikTok shop, it's dangerous, man.
Right.
You got to have responsibilities. But I love Concrete Comics and Wiseacre Comics. Magnus is one of my favorites. I fell in love with the Bitterroot series through Roomful of Blerds. I'm forgetting the creator's name at the time. I think it's Chuck something. Sorry, but yes, I see Atlantic Comic Con. They're up there. They're on Flood.
Right.
When I meet them, I'm going to hit the floor and just probably leave with a big old box of comics.
If I can make a recommendation, since you brought up Atlantic Comic Con, Greg Burnham, he's the owner and founder of that con.
Yeah.
He also works with Marcus Williams from Tuskegee, creator of Tuskegee Airs. Check out Greg Burnham.
That's who I was going to be. I want to get the issue Bridges. I know that just dropped, and I saw he was talking about he had the original issue where there's a few commas missing out or something like that. So you know, there's only a limited amount of those. I wanted to see if he still had some left.
Okay.
But yes, that is probably the first place I'll stop at.
Okay. Yeah, because I gotta go run into him too. I gotta spend my paycheck because I gotta know what happens in the next issue. Like, which is so weird because like I've just been slowly collecting all his comics over the last couple of years, and I'm like, he is everywhere. He's at every convention I go to.
I follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm like, does he do anything else? I don't think so. Because
he's a professional nerd. He made a career out of being a comic book creator and just a professional black nerd. So expiring career goals for those of you who are like me and like Greg Burnham and like yourself who want to just do nothing but come to cons.
Yeah.
Do it. But since you're here and you're in cosplay, you're cosplaying as Beetlejuice.
Yes, that is that's who I am. It's as he says, it's showtime.
It's showtime. So why Beetlejuice? Why cosplay?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd never really cosplayed that much, but I have kids, and Halloween is one of our favorite times of the year. That voice is going to be hard to keep up, so I'm going to go back now.
But I was Beetlejuice for Halloween last year, and like all the kids came up, asked me, was I the real Beetlejuice? Because I did the voice the whole night, so my voice was shot the next day. But it's what I recently did, and I kind of wanted to save some money and not buy a new costume.
Right.
And it's Thriller. I was like, oh, there you go, bingo. I don't have to buy anything else. So yeah, did my own makeup this morning, messed it up a bit, but you know, I'm kind of getting better at this cosplay stuff, if I say so myself.
Right. It's a process. So you brought up an interesting little tidbit, something that needs to be talked about a lot more in the cosplay community, and in the normie community. You know, people who don't vibe with all this nerd stuff. But what's going on? What is the difference between cosplay and a costume?
Well, I think I'm more of a costume with a bit of cosplay due to the makeup.
Cosplay, these people are artists. Like they are engineers / artists. They take weeks, months to meticulously craft their costumes. And that is amazing to me. Like they're modern day like tailors and blacksmiths. That's what I want to get into with my son. I want to get into like building weapons. Like we have a bunch of like Nerf guns and water guns. I'm like, we can make something out of these. I got, you know, a bunch of like pipes, wooden planks, and tools in the garage. So I feel like we can probably like have our own little, you know, arms shop. I think that's our next thing that I want to get into and try to do.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. Jason just walked in. And
I got a bone to pick with that guy. I remember him. Yeah.
Like while I'm sitting here talking to y'all, I've been like cornering my eye, like, oh my god, that cosplay looks good. That cosplay looks good.
I'll tell you what, Jason, he's got nothing on me. That guy Freddie, he's a joke. He's a joke. I'm the real deal, baby. Yeah.
Oh man, but the cosplayers have been showing out today. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of Saturday has to offer. You look amazing, by the way. Okay.
Can you walk in those? Oh, that's awesome.
All right, and like Chucky just walked in.
That guy's a joke too. I got a bone to pick with Chucky. Hey, Chucky. Okay, all right. You're taller than you in person than you are on TV. It's not fair.
Reincarnation is a little bit weird.
Okay. Okay, I like it. Oh, Black Air Force energy from Chucky. I like that.
All right. But man, I'm having a good old time. Just like people watching and just like chilling and just like interacting with people. This has been fun.
Yeah, I got in late last night and I didn't even go inside because I didn't have my badge. But there's a whole party going on outside. There were break dancers out there with a loudspeaker.
Right.
So I got some food and I joined in on the party. So
yeah,
you didn't even have to go in to have fun at this con. That's how much fun it is.
That's what it is. So in Atlanta, we have DreamWorks, and it's basically like just a huge party.
Like a big old cookout.
Right. That's what BlerDCon is reminding me of. It's like, even if you don't have a badge, just walk down the street of where the con is, and you're gonna have a good old time.
Nice.
You're gonna run into cosplayers. You're gonna get some good food. You're gonna just have it up, and then just having that interaction of seeing it from the outside is gonna make you want to go buy a badge.
Oh yeah.
So
most definitely.
This is for Mr. Hilton George, owner of BlerDCon. You have one hell of a convention here, sir. No wonder why it is a success. I see why it's a success. I see why people keep coming back year after year. You need more of this. You need to have a BlerDCon in every city. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I don't know how you can franchise
Charlotte,
out
North
BlerDCon.
Carolina, please bring a BlerDCon that's Charlotte, North Carolina.
Bring it to Atlanta. You know what? Atlanta has its own black nerd problems. I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. But no, BlerDCon, I've enjoyed this so much.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it so much. Ran into so many cool people. Finally get to meet some of the people I follow on the internet and like just have a conversation with them.
Friends, family.
So this has been fun. But why don't you tell my audience and the BlerDCon audience where they can find you at on the internet?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, all at All Nerd Entertainment. And we also have the website coming soon, so look out for that.
Gotcha. That is perfect. That is perfect. Since I got a little bit more time, I'm gonna bring out a surprise guest, and they don't even know they're about to come on. So everybody,
do you want me to go? Want me to go fishing for you?
Yeah. Let's welcome Tafari TV to the interview booth. Let me get the microphone for you. By the way, everybody watching the live stream, if you are watching the live stream, please follow Blerdography on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Red Note, Fanbase, Blue Sky. Just Google Blerdography and follow me everywhere. I do this every week, all the time. Hi. All right, you got it? Cool. Yeah, it's already on. I hope it's already on. Did 6 interviews.
I mean, if not, you got the audio from this, so.
Hey, that works. But what's going on, buddy? It's been a hot minute since I done seen you.
Yeah, not much, man. Chilling, making sure this is running smooth. Had to come put the TV back up. By the way, if you want to go to an anime convention, that is my how-to guide on how to do things. So
Gotcha.
If you're new to this, true to this, or you just haven't tried certain aspects of a con, I can tell you about everything except vending because I don't sell stuff.
Gotcha. So this clearly isn't your first time at BlerDCon, is it?
Nah, this makes number 3, and I like that this
Hold
one.
on. That is really sick. That's hard.
Hey, yo. Dope, man.
Yeah. But I'm sorry. I'm just
You're
like
good,
looking
you're
at
good.
like everybody's cosplay is dope. But what was I asking you? Shit, I just got distracted that quick.
BlerDCon, this
Thank
is my
you.
third one.
Yeah, third one. How have you enjoyed your BlerDCon experience so far?
It's been dope, man. It's always good seeing all the con cousins here. Like, it's always more of a laid back environment. So, coming through and seeing all our people just kind of getting to hang out. Like, even once all the panels is over, everybody was kind of just downstairs kicking it,
Right.
playing PlayStation. Just it's like a big family reunion.
Gotcha. So what are you actually doing at BlerDCon? I know you're working a lot with Blerd Station. You doing your own content. What all exactly are you doing this year?
Well, I turned 30 this week, so I was like, what better place to celebrate than here?
Right.
The horror theme is the place I can say RIP to my 20s. So,
Look, okay. All right. When you turned 30 and you got up out of bed that morning, what new body parts started popping that never popped before?
nothing yet. This is actually
Okay.
this is
You're
actually
lucky.
This is actually the most consistent sleep I've gotten in months.
Okay. But one day you're gonna wake up, your back, your ankle, your knee is gonna make that weird popping, cracking sound when you wake up and scratch. You're officially 30 when that
I
happens.
crack everything when I wake up now. That's how I get ahead of the curve.
Gotcha. So let me ask, what is your favorite part about attending BlerDCon specifically?
Honestly, just the energy, man. Just the fact that you can walk up and down stairs and just see the fact that you pass the same people so many times, and it's just everybody's kind and cordial when you see them.
Right.
Everybody just got that mellow, chill energy. Nobody's trying to be that one person to come and make it weird for everybody, and everybody kind of has an understanding of what we have here, what we've built, and trying to make sure that we can keep that for next year and so on, and keep being able to introduce more people to it. Like last year, we had a lot more of the a lot more creatives just pulled up randomly, so it was nice. It's always cool seeing those people at that status have their first experience.
Right.
That's usually what gets them coming back.
Right. I got you. Outside of BlerDCon, what other conventions are you going to this year?
So it's gonna be this DreamCon and then potentially MomoCon. I'm waiting to hear back from some people.
Hopefully, I get to see you at MomoCon.
I'm waiting on my approval, and then I'm waiting on something else because there were some people that were talking about sending me down there, but it's still in the wind.
Gotcha. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. You run your own YouTube channel. You're on TikTok. You're on basically everywhere.
Yeah.
You create content for yourself. You create content for Blerd Station. What is your approach to creating content?
Really, it's just whatever idea pops into my head, and if I can, how close can I get to making it a reality, especially with the limited tech that I have.
Mhm.
Like I had one skit. I think I still have it on my channel called I don't know what to call this. and it's kind of like a samurai, like an anime sword fight. And I'm like, this isn't even something that I came up with. This is like a dream I literally had like the night before. But I'm like, how can I? And that was like the night I learned how to green screen. So I didn't even know I had that like on my computer until I was looking up how to do it in Final Cut. And I promise you, you don't need a lot to do it. My green screen isn't an actual green screen. It's just a bed sheet that covers my back wall.
But sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
And like, especially if you're just learning how to do something, like you said, you didn't even know how you could do it. Just get it together, figure it out, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, figure out why doesn't it work, and make it work.
Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to get all like my longer like ideas I've had for a while, but I finally sat and just wrote them. Like some of the stuff I've had for years, like this one I've been waiting to do for like 2 years, but I kept coming up with new segments to it, and I was like, well, yeah, people would know how to get guests. People would know people. Not everybody has ever traveled, like
Right.
Like I go back home to Florida, and I know people who still haven't left like that part of Orlando they live in. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Altamont. I'm like, I stay on Ocoee. I'm like, it's 20 minutes that way.
Right.
So I get it. Some people haven't traveled. Some people don't know how to talk to guests. Some people don't know that when you talk to guests, you need to talk to the handler or the manager.
Right.
That's the person who can.
Yeah,
like,
I had to find that out the hard way.
Yeah, because the guests are nice. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. And the manager's like, you don't fit here. Or you don't have time for that. Actually, but no. Try like 3. Like we had like Phil Lamar, we met at DragonCon, but that was what, October, September?
Right.
But we didn't get him on the podcast till January. The homie, Cleo Thomas, met him at DreamCon in July. We didn't get him till October, like right before Halloween. So patience is also a virtue, but and speak of the devil. So yeah, I
gotcha.
Like that was one of the things I had to learn. Like, yeah, he can say yes all day, but you got to get the management or whoever's with them.
Right.
And these are like everything I put in this video was like a trial by fire. Another one I had, like, what if they had the purge weekend in the office? That was just so because there's a character in the show that they mentioned he's off screen, but they mentioned he unalives himself, and I was just like, what could be the backstory for how that happened? And it turned to like this 11-minute skit about like how they all would react if that was actually real.
Right.
And I'm just like, I've been meaning to do this for years. I just never sat down and like filmed it. My 30th birthday video, which I'm okay if anybody's watched it. I filmed that like a year ago. That was like if I don't make it by the time this uploads, I'm jumping off point, but like I'm good. That was just kind of my way of motivating myself. I'm trying to do something else because I know the Goofy movie's 30th is coming up next month. And that's out of my hands. I'm waiting on somebody to do a couple storyboards for me,
right,
and see if I can get that together. I've also done like some light voice work you might hear here and there. So I very much come from the era before everybody or even the corporate people in the room were like, "Oh, what's your niche or what box do you fit in?" I'm like, I just be out here doing stuff.
Gotcha. So first of all, or next thing, I want to say happy birthday or happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it.
I'm sitting here trying to work up the nerves to get everybody around us to sing you happy birthday. So at some point that's gonna happen.
We're not doing that.
We're gonna do that. It's gonna be a flash mob. Happy birthday, the black version since we're BlerdCon. It's the official version since the other one's not royalty free no more. Let me ask you this: what other advice could you give to content creators out there who want to get out there and start creating content like how we do at conventions?
Dude, just cut the camera on and just start doing stuff. That's my biggest piece of advice. Like all my stuff was trial by fire. Like no one taught me anything. I had to learn how to like edit, how to jump cut, how to do proper transitions. And I like you'll realize you're learning when you watch other people, and you realize, okay, that could have been better. You could have done this there.
Stop it, because that's why it's so hard for me to watch other content creators.
Like ladies, I love y'all, but like during the busted challenge, like a lot of them. I was like I'm like, that could have been like a 1 second faster, or like the delay was off, or you like I'm like, I like what y'all are doing, but like I couldn't turn my editor brain off. I'm like, a lot of y'all need to just CapCut should have been popping back then. It could have helped a lot of people.
Right.
But yeah, also I know it's the crazy times we live in. Growing up, it was cool to argue with people. Now you can catch a 30 in Facebook jail. Your block button does wonders. I promise you, ain't nobody gonna call you a punk or you're not weak for it. Get them out of here. Also, you're braver than most people because you put your face and voice on camera on a daily basis,
Right.
versus the people who usually criticize you who will never do such. Like I remember, what was it? When Toonami did the Black Lives Matter speech. That came on at midnight. I posted my video at 2. By 6, I was getting bombarded by people like, you don't get it. You're part of the woke mob. And one dude was like, if you understood the problem, this video wouldn't exist. When I tell you, stereotypical long-haired dude in his mother's basement filming like concrete walls, and I could tell he was like beneath ground level.
Right.
And I'm like, it is 8 a.m. Y'all were so angry. You got up before black kids could even wake up in the morning and say thank you to let us know you're bothered by this. So you'll see a lot of knuckleheads in the space. Just it only feeds if you get attention. Like I also realize that there are people who will egg you on just so they can get some like interaction out of you.
Right.
Even when you're like, my account is still up and coming. Like I'm not there yet. So I'm like, why are you picking fights with me?
Right.
So yeah, just cut your camera on, record, post. Make it a daily learning process. So just try to be better today than you were yesterday. Also, don't get attached to one social media platform. Like everybody freaked out about the TikTok ban. I watched Vine and MySpace die.
Oh my God, that's the TikTok ban. That needs to be studied and talked about in future social media classes. But thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I know this wasn't planned, but I saw you back there. I was like, you coming on camera, right?
Nah, you good.
You can't be like running the live stream the entire time. You gotta be in front.
Yeah, I still need to go visit some people down in the vendor hall still. I ain't been down there yet.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking I'm gonna head down there once I get some breakfast in me. But tell everybody on the Blerd Station, the Blerd. Oh crap, I forgot. We could talk about Blerd Station actually.
Yeah. So back for the live stream. We got more people who wanted to be in on it. So this year we were like, we do a lot of our own stuff, the skits or trailers we got in between. But especially because I know, money is tight for some people. So
right.
Early on, we kind of thought, everybody's not gonna be able to make the budget to come out here, which is why, some of our regulars and mutuals aren't here this weekend. But I'm like, if we can make it affordable for you to be here without being here, and that's kind of where the sponsorships came in. That's kind of where, getting people's product placements here and on screen or on the stream or on the television over here. Mm-hmm. Just kind of trying to help the community bounce back from a blow we've been dealt that wasn't by our fault.
Right.
So just doing what we do and taking a big step back and looking out for each other and each other only. Right.
I see Blerd Station doing a lot of great things. I see you guys are still working on the subscription platform.
Yeah.
You guys are at every convention. Well, I keep saying you guys. I'm a part of Blerd Station, even if I don't always create content for it. But Blerd Station is definitely where it's at. And if you're not following or subscribed to Blerd Station, you should definitely do so you don't miss out on all the Black nerd stuff that happens around the country, around the world. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it. But again, where can everybody find you specifically on the internet?
Yeah, so it is at Tafari TV on every platform. So TAFARI TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, any other apps I'm forgetting the name, and you search me, I pretty much come up everywhere.
Gotcha. All right, and thank you for having Blerdography on Blerd Station, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to go live. I don't go live that often, so this was a fun experience for me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate you coming up.
All right, but stay tuned. There'll be more coming from the Blerd Station booth. More lives coming shortly, and don't forget to subscribe to Blerdography everywhere on the internet. All right. Peace. We out. Blerdography out.